Ben here for International MMA with my predictions of UFC 166. It's the big heavyweight title fight between Cain Velasquez and Junior Dos Santos for the third time, the decider if you like. So anyway, let's get straight into the predictions, shall we? I'm going to actually start off with the prelims this week because the prelims on this card are so good they could be a main event. They could be on the main card. So I'm just going to run through them quite quickly, and then I'll go into the main card in a little bit more detail. So we've got George Staropoulos versus KJ Noons. George Staropoulos, the Australian, tremendous BJJ practitioner. KJ Noons, he came over from Strikeforce, has tremendous boxing, very quick hands, great footwork. This fight I'm picking KJ Noons. If he can avoid going to the ground with George and he can avoid, George's submission attempts, then he can just stand on the feet and box him up all day. Then we've got a female fight, Sarah Kaufman versus Jessica Ai. Jessica Ai making her UFC debut. Sarah Kaufman, she's been around for a while now in Strikeforce. She's ranked 2 in the female division, and I'm seeing her winning this fight again. It's a big step up from Jessica. She's fought in Bellator before, but the UFC's a big proving ground. Sarah Kaufman's a lot more experienced, but Jessica definitely is going to be dangerous. So it's going to be a good scrap of a female fight, it looks like. But I'm picking Sarah Kaufman just due to the experience, I think. Then we have Nate the Great Marquardt versus Hector Lombard. Both kind of been having a tough time in the UFC. Nate Marquardt, he came back after being released by the UFC, but then he started fighting for Strikeforce, and then when UFC brought Strikeforce, then Nate came along with the Strikeforce fighters, and he got knocked out terribly in his last fight by Jake Ellenberger. Hector Lombard struggling to put anything together in the UFC. He was considered by a lot of people to be, one of the best fighters out there when he was fighting with Bellator, but now he's fighting much better guys in the UFC. He's been struggling. He did KO Rosamar Paul Harris that recently got cut by the UFC. I think he lost his last fight and lost another fight. So both of these really looking for a win tonight. Hector to show that he is worthy of being in there, and same with Nate the Great Marquardt to show that he still deserves to be in the UFC. But I am picking Hector Lombard in this fight. In the stand-up, I think he's got more punching power. He could definitely KO Nate, like Nate has been KO'd before. As far as wrestling and things, I reckon Hector Lombard can stuff Nate Marquardt's wrestling decently. So Hector Lombard with this fight, probably by knockout. Then Timboats versus CB Dollaway. Picking Timboats in this fight. Dollaway just never really seems to impress me. He's a decent enough fighter, but he's got that wrestling base, and his striking's not amazing. Timboats, for a big guy, he has really good striking, actually has brilliant kicks, and has the wrestling to back it up. I see him defeating CB in all aspects of the game. Then onto the main card, John Dodson, the Magician, versus Darrell Montagu. Oh, this is a tough fight for the Mongoose, Darrell Montagu. Just coming into the UFC for his UFC debut, fighting John Dodson, who's had a few fights in the UFC now. He's fought for a title, so you don't get much more pressure than being in a title fight. I think this step up's a little bit too much. If Darrell can, embrace it and really perform to his best, he can definitely beat John Dodson. He's a very quick fighter. He's very versatile. Great strikes. So he can definitely hang with John Dodson, but it's just this step up's a little bit too much. Who knows? We may see a Colin McGregor that comes in and wows everyone. Came out of nowhere. No one knew who Conor McGregor was, apart from people in the UK and Ireland, and then he showed everyone in the US who he was with a big UFC debut. So who knows? Maybe a big UFC debut from Darrell Montagu, but I'm picking John Dodson. John Dodson's, again, he's got the experience. He's been there before. He's fought in a title fight. Darrell Montagu hasn't got anything that John Dodson hasn't already seen, hasn't already fought, and hasn't already beat. Next fight, two of the big guys, Gabriel Gonzaga versus Sean Jordan. Both of these fighters coming off big knockouts. Both of them have a lot of power in their hands. They can knock you out. Gabriel Gonzaga, tremendous BJJ. For a big guy, he's a fantastic grappler, fights really well off his back. with aggressive submissions. Sean Jordan originally with a wrestling base, and we're actually starting to see a lot of wrestlers with that good wrestling base end up getting very heavy hands like we did with Johnny Hendricks. In this fight, I'm picking Sean Jordan. I think in the stand-up, both of them, all they have to do is connect hard and they can knock each other out. But I think Sean Jordan's probably going to look to strike a little bit more. Gabriel Gonzaga's probably going to want to tie it up. And when they do tie it up, Sean Jordan's got that wrestling to just back it up and try and stuff any of the submission attacks from Gonzaga. So Sean Jordan in that fight. Then Melendez versus Diego Sanchez. Diego Sanchez, wow, this is a big fight for him. If he can win this, he'll live up to his name of the dream. It will be a dream come true if he beats Gilbert Melendez. I can't see it happening. Gilbert Melendez, I personally thought that he beat Ben Henderson when they fought, and he deserves to be right up there with title shots, in title shot contention. I think he's ranked number 2 at the moment in his division. Diego Sanchez kind of coming out of nowhere. I don't really know why he's been put in for this fight. I'm not sure if someone dropped out or something. But Diego Sanchez is just a little bit out of his league. He's got that. He's got very good wrestling. In fact, he's very similar to Gilbert Melendez. A younger Diego Sanchez is a lot like the Gilbert Melendez of today, but Gilbert Melendez he's just better in all ways than Diego Sanchez, and he's going to be able to beat him wrestling, on the feet, whatever. Gilbert Melendez, he deserves to be getting a title shot. Diego Sanchez is just, another fight in his way that he's going to probably steamroll through. For Diego Sanchez, though, he's got nothing to lose. He's going to go out there and he's going to fight his heart out, so it's going to be a tremendous fight. Daniel DC Cormier versus Roy Nelson. Another great big heavyweight fight for the co-main event. Roy Nelson, he's kind of gone away from everything that he used to do, and now he just looks for one thing, and that's that big right hand. If Roy Nelson can land his right hand on you, he can knock out absolutely anyone in the heavyweight division, and Daniel Cormier is no exception. If Roy Nelson puts his body and puts all that weight that he's got into a big right hand, DC will go straight to sleep. Daniel Cormier, what's he going to want to do? Just, keep his distance, just find the punch. Daniel Cormier's got really good crisp boxing, actually. Going to use his crisp boxing, maybe put Nelson up against the cage a little bit, work a couple takedowns, just make it a long day for Roy Nelson. Roy Nelson does tend to get very frustrated if he can't land that right hand, and Daniel Cormier's an intelligent fighter, and that's exactly what he's going to do, frustrate Roy Nelson, probably take it to decision, just box him up a little bit, maybe drop him on his back now and then, and Roy Nelson's just going to swing for that right hand, and who knows, if he lands it, then DC's going to sleep. So now for the main event, Cain Velasquez versus Junior Dos Santos. In the first fight, Junior Dos Santos flattened Cain Velasquez with a big knockout, big right hand, I think. Then in the second fight, Cain Velasquez dominated Junior Dos Santos, absolutely dominated him, could take him down at will, even landed the more significant fights during that bout. So we're into the third match. It's one apiece. It's the decider. Who is the better heavyweight? Who is the champion? And for me, I think Cain Velasquez is going to remain champion. I think in the last fight, he got Junior Dos Santos' number. I mean, when you go 5 rounds with that person, when you've been training for that person's style for as long as Cain Velasquez has, with all of that and with all that experience and with feeling Junior Dos Santos in the cage for so long, feeling how he fights and how he can take him down, that's a huge, huge advantage. Cain Velasquez should be able to keep up what he did last bout. Junior Dos Santos has probably just been training non-stop takedown defense, but there's a big difference to drilling takedown defense in the gym and to avoid someone's takedown in the cage. So I'm picking Cain Velasquez. I think it's going to be similar to the last fight. But if Junior Dos Santos can get off quick with his hands and finish Cain within the first couple rounds, then he definitely could do that. but I think Kane's going to probably take it through the rounds. Lots of takedowns, lots of ground and pounds, ground and pound, and Kane will come up the victor and the champion. So those are my predictions. I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to subscribe to our international MMA channel. Just press the button. Just takes 2 seconds, and it shows us that you want to see more of our videos, more of our predictions. Also, give us a thumbs up if you like this video, and let me know in the comments what you think of these fights, and let me know some of your predictions. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let's see. Until next time, guys, take care and enjoy the fights.